Hey guys, it's Dean. This is the second installment of my building of an HBD team from rags to riches. So let's get on with it and check out our pitching staff we have here. So first and foremost, we have Virgil Munoz, who, long story short, he's a fucking beast. You can see he has awesome splits and 38 stamina with 78 durability. He's going to give you a lot of innings. See, he's good for 160 innings a year with an ERA in the low threes. Pretty good on base and slugging against. Even playing in Boston with mediocre defense. This is an important thing to note. I'm going to have a much better defense than my predecessor, so I'm gonna have to take these pitching stats with a grain of salt. They'll be a little bit better for me, and most of the guys who I have that are pretty good, as you'll see, have pretty mediocre pitching stats. But this guy is good in spite of everything. So even though he's 36 for 14.5 million, I'll definitely take him at that price. His splits are probably going to start eroding with the $14 million training budget, but whatever, I'll deal with it. And I might even extend him. He wants 3 years at 7.7 a year, so we'll see how he holds up throughout the course of the year. But I'm a big fan of this guy. He's going to make building a pitching staff a lot easier. Um, Now, our top starters, we have Chili Yoshi, who, for all intents and purposes, he's our ace. See, he has a sick versus righty, pretty good pitches. His weakness is control, but he gives a lot of walks. 332 opponents on base really isn't that bad for Fenway with a shitty defense. 400 opponents slugging, not terrible either. He's not a true ace. He's more so a number two starting pitcher, but he's fine. He's making 5.4 million a year. That's pretty decent value for the next 2 years. Now Gregory Tracy, he's a bit more vanilla. You just look at his ratings; they're decent. I think that's how pretty much anyone would describe him. He's decent. His performance is pretty mediocre. This is his contract year, making 6.25 million. I'd be open to trading him, but looking at statistics, most people would not really want to give up anything of value for him. So I'll probably just end up keeping him since, considering the circumstances, those numbers aren't terrible. They're decent enough. He's a middle of the rotation type of starter. So now we have Junior Martinez. He has pretty good ratings for a relief pitcher. Again, pretty mediocre. Not that bad considering the circumstances. He's making 4 million in a contract year. I'll probably just keep him around and use him in a setup A role. I don't know why people even bother to use the closer role. I mean, he could give you almost twice as many innings with probably just as high leverage on average in a setup A. You're just basically wasting a guy by constraining him to the closer role, which is pretty silly in my opinion. Uh, then Glenn Lowell. He's just a guy. He'll eat some innings. He'll be mediocre. Whatever for the minimum. Just starting off, I'm fine just leaving him on my roster as as my 10th or 11th pitcher. And you see we have a bunch of ARB eligible guys. I'll get into them later when I cut all their asses in arbitration. But for now, the one guy that we're going to be keeping around is Damaso Guerrero. He has a lot of ratings in the 80 range. 58 stamina depresses his value a little bit, but I really like the 58 stamina guys because they're always underrated. And when there are a lot of relievers like what's his name, Virgil Munoz, who give you a shitload of innings, it's really not a problem to have a bunch of 58 stamina guys in the rotation. You can see his stats are pretty good even for Fenway, so I'm definitely going to be giving him his big payday when that time rolls around. So let's just give a quick look at the prospects. We basically have one prospect. It's this guy, William Miller. You can see he was the 11th pick in the draft last year. He has 48 stamina, so he's going to be one of those 50-something stamina guys that I love. I don't know how much his ratings are going to grow, but he looks like he'll be a pretty solid number 2 starting pitcher. Um, I'd trade him if necessary to get any piece that I want, but I doubt anyone's going to value him as much as me, so I'll probably just end up holding on to him. And then I don't really have anything else resembling prospects. The closest things I have are these relievers. And Matty Zerberon, who's in his 3rd year. Don't be deceived by the 1 pro year. You can see this is his 2nd spring training. He's going to be somebody who's just a guy. And then Pedro Sainz, who's probably going to be worse than just a guy. Probably just going to keep him in AAA and forever. Neither of them are very good. I'll deal them if I need to. If it's just something to pass on, acquire a veteran that somebody's looking to unload. I don't really care for either of them. They're not really major league quality in my opinion. So anyway, now that we've seen my inventory or lack thereof, we can get on to setting the budget. So you can see that my current player payroll is $72 million, and probably going to need about $6 million a year to re-sign that one pitcher. So even though I'm going to try to shed as many of the contracts as possible, I think I'll be able to shed a decent amount, but I'm still going to want a lot of player payroll so I can be make some splashes in the free agent market, or in the trade market. Either way, having a player payroll is really important to filling your major league team with talent, especially when you have a lot of albatrosses. So anyway, just starting off to set the budget, we'll just get this right out of the way. The 14 training and 6 advanced scouting. Advanced scouting's worthless, training's awesome. I hate having the 14 million training budget, but it's something I deal with. Now, coach is my fielding instructor, not very good, willing to re-sign, so I can easily build a good coaching staff for $7 million. So that's what we will do. For scouting, we have the number 8 pick, which is pretty good. I'm not really used to picking this high, so my primary concern is just seeing enough prospects to get somebody good. I mean, I don't want to set my scouting budget too high because I'm planning on probably picking 20th or so next year, and then after that, hopefully I don't really pick in the top 25 anymore. So I don't really care about having accurate ratings, so hopefully if we spend 10 on college and 12 on high school, we'll be able to see enough prospects to get our future face of the franchise. Now the big decision is, do we want to go big in the prospect market or not? I mean, if I ratchet this up to 20 million, we're getting really low on player payroll, so I'm just not going to make a splash. I'm going to say screw international prospects just for this season. I might look into it next year, but it's just not really a risk I'm willing to take. I want to, shoot for 90 wins this year, and I don't really, I'm going to reinforce my farm system with the number 8 pick, so I don't really need to make it a stud in international free agency. So we're going super cheap on that. And medical, it's something I like having, not a necessity. I never really max it out, but it helps me sleep a little better at night. So I think we'll go with 13 million is a pretty reasonable amount to keep me from getting too fucked by injuries, but I want to go all the way to 14 because we need to save money to buy players to help us win now. So that's the budget we're rolling with. Seen our players, and in the future videos we'll be building a team and hopefully getting some guys who can play who don't cost an assload of money. So that's it for now. See you.